History remembers Genghis Khan as a visionary leader who united fractured tribes, but the empire he built rested on a foundation of human bones. This historical map shows the boundaries of the Mongolian Empire. Focus on the Central Asian steppe, the empty territory where his campaign began. Over his life, his forces pushed those borders outward, swallowing territory from the Pacific Ocean to the Caspian Sea. Before he was a world conqueror, he was a boy named Temujin. When he was 9, a rival tribe poisoned his father. Temujin and his family were abandoned by their own people, left to forage and hunt to survive the freezing Mongolian wilderness. This period of total isolation shaped his view of the world. In a landscape devoid of safety, survival required absolute control over everyone in his orbit. We see the first application of this logic when Temujin was 14. After a long day of fishing, his older half-brother Bektar took a fish and ate the entire thing himself, threatening the family's fragile food supply. Temujin didn't try to negotiate. He stalked his brother through the grass and shot an arrow into his back. Killing Bektar established a rule that would govern Temujin's rise to power. In a world of limited resources, a rival is not an obstacle to be managed, but a threat to be permanently removed. By 1211, the Mongols began invading the Jin dynasty in China. Early on, they faced a massive hurdle. As nomadic horsemen, they had no experience breaching the stone walls and heavy doors of fortified cities. To bypass this, Genghis Khan developed a tactic known as the Karash, meaning living boards. His forces raided surrounding villages, captured civilians, and forced them to march at the very front of the Mongol army. These prisoners, including women and children, were used to trigger booby traps and absorb the boiling oil and arrow fire coming from the city's defenders. The brutality escalated during the Siege of Zhongdu, modern-day Beijing. The Mongols cut off the city's food supply and trampled their crops, forcing the trapped citizens into starvation and eventually cannibalism. When the city finally fell, the slaughter was total. Historical accounts report that 60,000 women threw themselves from the walls, choosing mass suicide over being taken by the Mongol army. The Karash effectively weaponized the enemy's own morality. By forcing Jin soldiers to shoot arrows into crowds that looked like their own families, Genghis Khan made defending the city psychologically agonizing and practically impossible. This strategy of total suppression extended to diplomacy. In 1218, the governor of a Khwarezmian city executed a 450-man Mongol trade caravan, accusing the merchants of being spies. The retaliation was a highly calculated spectacle. After capturing the governor, Genghis Khan ordered his men to pour molten silver directly into the man's eyes and ears. The Mongols then moved on the city of Merv. Although the population surrendered, the Mongols divided the citizens into groups and systematically slaughtered them, with some estimates placing the death toll at over 700,000. To ensure the city remained a ghost town, they destroyed Merv's foundational water systems, guaranteeing the land would stay an uninhabitable wasteland for generations. This pattern repeated in Nishapur. To avenge the death of a royal son-in-law, the Mongols beheaded every living thing in the city, including cats and dogs, and built enormous pyramids of human skulls in the fields. These massacres were not driven by chaotic bloodlust. They were highly publicized campaigns designed to shock the rest of the world into immediate surrender. Near the end of his life, Genghis Khan directed this absolute destruction at the Tangut civilization in northwestern China after their king refused a demand to submit to Mongol rule. This campaign targeted the civilization's survival. From his deathbed, Genghis Khan commanded the total obliteration of the Tangut people from the historical record. The Mongol army leveled their unique architecture, burned their written records, and forced the few survivors to assimilate. Within generations, the Tangut language and script vanished. Historians consider this systematic wiping of a culture to be one of the first recorded examples of attempted genocide. Even Genghis Khan's death in 1227 was marked by a final act of violence. He ordered his burial site to be kept a total secret to preserve his mythos as an untouchable, godlike figure. As his funeral procession marched into the wilderness, his guards executed every witness they encountered along the road. According to legends, those soldiers were then executed by another group of guards to ensure the location died with them. Today, he is remembered for building the largest contiguous empire in history, creating trade networks that connected East and West for the first time. But that global architecture was held together by a singular, terrifying innovation: the perfection of the architecture of fear.